So the mnemonic for branch amino acid is live: leucine, isoleucine, and valine. Leucine, isoleucine, and valine. I'm writing the third one here. Valine. Leucine, isoleucine, and valine. So branch relationship, we should have a live-hearted person. So the mnemonic for branch amino acid, LIV, leucine, isoleucine, and valine. Leucine, isoleucine, valine. Leucine, isoleucine, valine. Next is the third subcategory. The third subcategory of amino acid based on R group. Leucine, isoleucine, and valine. The third subcategory is sulfur containing amino acid. Sulfur containing amino acid means the R group will be containing sulfur. R group will be containing sulfur. So what are the examples of sulfur containing amino acid? There are two examples, methionine and cysteine. Now everyone just pay attention. How we are going to remember this? See here. What is there inside meaty cyst? Meaty cyst. What is inside the meaty cyst? Sulfur. What is inside the meaty cyst? Sulfur. So sulfur containing amino acids are meaty cyst, that is methionine and cysteine. Methionine and cysteine. Sulfur containing amino acids are methionine and cysteine. Methionine and cysteine, sulfur containing amino acids. Methionine and cysteine. The fourth subcategory, amino acid with hydroxyl group. Amino acid with hydroxyl group. Hydroxyl means OH. OH, or I can say in simple words, I can say alcohol. So amino acid which contains alcohol as their functional group. Amino acid with alcohol group. Amino acid with alcohol group. See, most of you are doing your graduation from North Asian countries. And in North Asia, there is a tradition that whenever a guest comes to them, they offer alcohol. They offer alcohol to them. In India, routinely we do not practice this, but in North Asian countries, and you are very familiar with that, they usually offer alcohol. So for last few years, I was traveling to China, Russia, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan multiple times for taking lectures. So last time, that was I was supposed to take lecture in the city of Nanjing. Nanjing is a city in China, and this is near to Shanghai. So I reached Shanghai airport around 5 p.m. and from Shanghai to Nanjing, it's 3 hour distance. So 3-4 students came to airport to pick me up from Shanghai airport, and via taxi we went all the way till Nanjing. Now because for a while I was taking lectures, means I was multiple time in China, and I was well aware about the tendency and the culture. So what these 3-4 students who came to pick me from the airport, what they told to me is, so from next day onwards, we are going to have a very hectic schedule. We are going to have class from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. So for next 7 days, and that will be very hectic. So what we do is, so let's have a party today. So let's have a party from 9 p.m. today, and from tomorrow onwards, we are going to a very hectic schedule. So I said, I understood their concern, the concern directly, and I said, no, I do not drink. I do not drink. But one of the student was continuously saying, sir, just from tomorrow onwards, we are having active schedule again and again. So what ultimately what the student said is, sir, you just come and sit. We just need a reason to start. You just sit, and we will drink, and you enjoy the party. I said, okay, I will join you at 9 p.m. At 9 p.m., I joined them, and they started drinking. Again, one student was continuously saying, uh, sir, no one is knowing you here. You are completely unknown. So you just have one pack. Continuously forcing. So I said, okay, just give me one. So I took the first one, and I liked it. So I asked for the second one. Everyone likes it. So I liked it. Now, as soon as I asked for the third one, what happened was the student who was organizing all the class, the student who was organizing class means who has taken the money from the student to organize the entire class. He was thinking that sir is drinking for the first time in his life and he's totally unaware about something called as hangover. How he is going to take a 12-hour class next day morning? So what he has to do is he has to stop me. He has to stop me from picking up the next pack. So he was also from North India and I was also from North India. So what he said to me is, "Sir, please stop. This is alcohol." So in Hindi, he said to me, "Sir, ठहरो. This is alcohol. Sir, ठहरो. This is alcohol. ठहरो means stop. Sir, ठहरो. This is alcohol." What we are discussing is alcohol containing amino acid. The alcohol containing amino acid is, sir, ठहरो. This is alcohol. That is serine and threonine. Sir, ठहरो. Nothing such incident happened. Sir, ठहरो. Serine and threonine is alcohol containing amino acid. Nothing such incident happened. Serine and threonine. Serine and threonine. Serine and threonine. So these are the example of alcohol containing amino acid. This is how we are going to remember alcohol containing sir, thero, serine, threonine. We need to add one more amino acid, that is tyrosine. See, tyrosine is also amino acid which also contain hydroxyl group. So I am writing, we are writing in a separate line. We will not write in continuation, we'll write tyrosine in a separate line. Tyrosine also contain hydroxyl group. Tyrosine also contain hydroxyl group, but tyrosine tyrosine is also amino acid which also contain hydroxyl group. But we are writing tyrosine in a separate line. We are not writing in continuation of serine, threonine, and tyrosine. We are writing tyrosine in a separate line, and you will understand why we are writing tyrosine in a separate line. So after 10 minutes, we'll come back to this slide and we'll complete the statement. So you will give a space of one line, and we will complete the statement that why we have written tyrosine in a separate line. You'll understand that time better. So this is the fourth subcategory, amino acid with hydroxyl group. The fifth subcategory, they are called as acidic amino acid. The fifth subcategory is acidic amino acid. See, acid we can write like this, COH. We usually write acid like COH, or we can write like COO negative. We can write either COH or we can write like this. Both the way it is same. So what you can notice is that acid is a molecule which contains which charge? Negative charge. Wherever there is acid, the charge is going to be negative. Wherever there is excess amount of acid, the charge is going to be negative. That is why I have written acidic amino acid or negatively charged amino acid. Means wherever there is excess amount of acid, the charge is going to be negative. The charge is going to be negative. See, there are two examples of acidic amino acid. Aspartic acid, just pay attention. I will tell you when to write. Aspartic acid and glutamic acid. There are two amino acid which contains excess amount of acid, aspartic acid and glutamic acid. Whenever they are going to ask you the question that which of the following amino acid contains, which of the following amino acid belongs to acidic amino acid group, they are not going to give you this name aspartic acid or glutamic acid. The name itself is very clear because it is containing the name acid. So they are not going to use this name. Instead of aspartic acid, they will use other name that is called as aspartate. Instead of glutamic acid, they will use the other name glutamate. Right? So the acidic amino acids are aspartate and glutamate. Aspartate and glutamate. Acidic amino acids are aspartate and glutamate. These are these are just the other name of aspartic acid and glutamic acid. Aspartic acid and glutamic acid. The other names are aspartate and glutamate. The sixth subcategory is amino acid with amide group. So first we need to understand what is the meaning of this amide group is. When it comes to alcohol, we understood it is OH. When it comes to sulfur, we understood it is S. So what is this amide? See, amide means CONH2, CNH2. This CONH2 group is referred as amide. So in any amino acid, if there is CONH2 group is present, that is called as amino acid with amide group. Amino acid with amide group. So to understand this amino acid with amide group is, this amide is a molecule which loves the acid. Amide is a molecule which loves acid. Wherever there is excess amount of acid, this amide will go and will attach on that. Wherever there is excess amount of acid, this amide will go and will attach. So I can say there are two amino acid which contains excess amount of acid, aspartic acid and glutamic acid. They contain the excess amount of acid, and amide loves acid. Amide loves acid. So what this amide will do is, amide will go and will attach on aspartate, as well as it can go and will attach on glutamate. So if amide goes and attaches on aspartate, it will convert into aspargine. So amide group containing amino acid, the first example is aspargine. The reason is clear, because it loves the acid, so it will go and will attach on aspartate, so it will convert into aspargine. In the same way, amide can go and can attach on glutamate, so it will convert into aspartate. Now you will answer aspartate, aspargine, glutamate. What will the answer? Yes, it is not glutargine, it is glutamine. Yes, everything is not that easy. Everything is not that easy. It is glutamine. So we have two amino acid which contains amide group, aspargine and glutamine. Aspargine and glutamine. Amide group containing amino acid, aspargine and glutamine. This is the sixth subcategory of amino acid. There is a point that we can add for glutamine. This glutamine, it is also called as anti-stress nutrient. Glutamine, in physiology book, it is also referred as anti-stress nutrient. Anti-stress nutrient. Anti-stress nutrient. So acidic, the fifth and sixth subcategory, they are linked, acidic amino acid and amino acid with amide group. Let's see the seventh subcategory. The seventh subcategory is basic amino acid. Means the pH is more than 7. They are called as basic amino acid. We said that acid is negatively charged molecule. We have written that acid is negatively charged molecule. If acid is negatively charged, then the opposite basic will be positively charged. Wherever there is excess amount of base is present, we can say that it will be a positively charged molecule. Wherever there is excess amount of base, that will be a positively charged molecule. Soon, not soon, I don't know, maybe you are going to give the exam next year, this year, or maybe 2 years later. So whenever you will start your clinical rotation, maybe in your med school or maybe in your internship, what you will notice that when you will be posted in a critical care unit, CCU, whenever you are going to post in CCU, you are going to notice that there are some patients who are going to die in a certain time frame. Let's say some are going to die in 2 days, some are going to die in 4 days, some are going to die in 1 month. We can label them easily that they are going to die, and we are unable to help them. We are unable to help them. We do not have any cure for them. They are on the terminal stage. Now, when the person is on a deathbed, and if you ask that, what is your last wish? What is your last thing that you want to do? The last wish, or I can say the last urge. If you ask for the last urge, what is your last urge? What is the last thing that you want to do? The last urge will be very basic. Last urge will be very basic, that he will say, I want to go to that particular restaurant. I want to have, let's say, a dosa from there. I want to go to visit a particular temple or maybe a place, right? So the last wishes or the last urge is very basic. Last urge is very basic. So we are discussing basic amino acid. I can say his last urge is very basic. His last urge is very basic. His last urge is very basic. So the amino acid which contains basic group, they are called as, the mnemonic is his last urge, that stand for histidine, lysine, arginine. His last urge, histidine, lysine, arginine. So the example of basic amino acid, histidine, lysine, arginine. They can ask one more question here. Out of these three, which is most basic? which is having the highest pH. The most basic is arginine. Highest pH is of arginine. Most basic. Most basic is arginine. This is the seventh subcategory. The eighth subcategory, it is aromatic amino acid. Aromatic amino acid. Aromatic means the amino acid which have a particular smell. Any amino acid which have a particular smell will come under the category of aromatic amino acid. Aromatic amino acid. So to make you understand the aromatic amino acid, I will take an example. See, for example, let's say there is a closed environment. See, let's say if we are having a live class, that would have been in a large hall that will be having multiple ACs, and there will not be multiple windows that will be present. So let's say there is a hall, there is a room, a large room, and which is completely closed. There is no air space available. Now what we do is we bring a tire, we bring a rubber tire, and we burn the tire there. If we burn the tire, what we are going to notice that everywhere, after some time, everywhere there will be smell or there will be smoke of that tire, of that burnt tire. Now to get rid of the smell, if this that is a closed room, to get rid of the smell, what we need to do is we need to turn on the exhaust fan so that the smell will go out. We need to turn on the fan. So the point is, whenever there is smell, what we need to do is we need to turn on the exhaust fan to get rid of the smell. Wherever there is aroma, the fan has to be there. Wherever there is aroma, the fan has to be there. So the amino acid which contains fan in the name, they are aromatic amino acid. The amino acid which contains fan in the name, they will be having a smell. So for example, if I ask you that, can you name any amino acid which contains fan in the name? Fan in the name, that will be aromatic. Yes. Tryptophan. Fan in the name, it is aromatic amino acid. Can one more example? Phenylalanine. Fan in the name, aromatic. So this is just a way to remember. If there is fan in the name, that is going to be aromatic. That is going to be aromatic. One more example. What was the smell of? The smell is of tire. The smell is of tire. So tyrosine is aromatic. The smell is of tire. Tyrosine is aromatic. The last one, histidine. Histidine is aromatic. So the first three we can easily remember via mnemonic. The last one we have to put some more effort to remember this, histidine. This is not fitting in the mnemonic, but still it is aromatic amino acid. So these are the four examples: tryptophan, phenylalanine, tyrosine, and histidine. There is a special quality regarding this aromatic amino acid. The quality is, if you take these amino acid, let's say this test tube, we are taking a test tube, and this test tube contains aromatic amino acid. Now, when you put the aromatic amino acid in the test tube and you expose the test tube with the sunlight contains UV rays. Now, what these aromatic will do is, this aromatic amino acid have a tendency that they will absorb the UV rays very easily. They will absorb the UV rays very easily. So this is what they ask is, write down this statement. Aromatic amino acid have a tendency to absorb the UV rays. Aromatic amino acid have a tendency to absorb the UV rays. And maximum UV absorption is seen with, among these all four amino acid, if they ask that out of these four, which one have the maximum absorption, The maximum UV absorption is seen with tryptophan. This is asked twice in your exam. So UV absorption, the maximum UV absorption is seen with tryptophan. This is asked twice in your exam, that which amino acid will have the maximum UV absorption. The maximum is with tryptophan. Maximum UV absorption. So this is the eighth subcategory. Aromatic amino acid. Ninth is hydrophilic amino acid. The maximum UV absorption is with tryptophan. The ninth subcategory of amino acid, hydrophilic amino acid. Hydrophilic means, the meaning of hydrophilic word means water soluble. Water soluble. Water soluble. In other words, it is also called as polar amino acid. So polar, water soluble, hydrophilic, all the three terms are same. Polar, hydrophilic, and water soluble, all the three terms are same. See, the list is very long. Out of 22 amino acid, if they ask that total how many amino acid are water soluble, then there are around 11 amino acid which are water soluble. So it is very difficult to remember the entire 11 names in sequence. So how we are going to remember that which are the water soluble, which are the non-water soluble? So the way to remember is, we'll remember via categories. For example, just pay attention. No need to write this part, just pay attention. See, when we were in the 11th, 12th class in the chemistry practical room, we used to have some small bottles that contains acid and base. Is H2SO4, HNO3 were there. Let's say you put small, so a few drops of H2SO4 in a test tube. Then what we used to do is, we used to pour some water so that we can dilute the acid. To dilute the acid, we used water. Now, when we add the water, water was completely soluble. Water was completely soluble with H2SO4. H2SO4 was not precipitating at the bottom. So if I ask you that acid is a water soluble molecule or not? Yes, acid is a water soluble molecule. The reason is, it is a charged molecule. Wherever there is charge, either positive or negative, acid is a negatively charged molecule. Any molecule which will contain charge, that is going to be water soluble. So I can say, if they ask which are the water soluble amino acid, do you know? I can say acidic amino acids are going to be water soluble. Acidic amino acid. Which amino acid are acidic? Aspartate and glutamate. Aspartate and glutamate, they are water soluble. Yes, they are water soluble because they are acidic amino acid. There is an amino acid which loves acid. There is a group which loves acid, we have discussed. There is a molecule which loves acid. The molecule is amide. So I can say amide group containing amino acid. Amide group containing amino acid, they are going to be water soluble, because wherever there is amide, there is excess amount of acid, and wherever there is acid, that is going to be water soluble. So can you name the amino acid which contains amide group? Amide group containing amino acid, they are going to be, yes, asparagine and glutamine. Asparagine and glutamine. So they are also be water soluble. So we are remembering the amino acid via the categories. The first, acid is water soluble, amide is water soluble. If acid is water soluble, I can say base is also water soluble, basic amino acid, because they contain positive charge. If acid is water soluble, because it is negative, so positive is also water soluble. So which are the water soluble basic amino acid? Do we know basic amino acid? His last urge, histidine, lysine, arginine. Histidine, lysine, arginine. His last urge is very basic. His last urge is very basic. The fourth thing that we can say water soluble is, if I ask you, vodka is water soluble or not? Vodka, whiskey, is it water soluble or not? Yes, 100% it is water soluble. We every day in the evening we used to mix the vodka with water, whiskey with water, right? So vodka, whiskey, or I can say in better way, I can say alcohol. Alcohol is water soluble, yes. So I can say alcohol containing amino acid. They are going to be water soluble. Alcohol containing amino acids. So what are the alcohol containing? Yes, sir, thero. Sir, thero, this is alcohol. Serine and threonine. Serine and threonine. Wherever there is alcohol, that is going to be water soluble. Sir, thero. Sir, thero. Serine and threonine, that is water soluble. Now I want you to take you back to the alcohol containing amino acid. We have discussed alcohol containing amino acid in the fourth category. Now pay attention, everyone. Come to the fourth subcategory. Fourth subcategory, that was alcohol containing amino acid. We have written in the notes the fourth subcategory, amino acid with hydroxyl group. And we have written that there are three amino acid which contains alcohol group: serine, threonine, and tyrosine. But when I am writing that which alcohol containing amino acid are water soluble, I have just written two names, serine and threonine. I have not written the third one. See, the tyrosine contains hydroxyl group. Despite tyrosine contains hydroxyl group, it is not water soluble. It is not water soluble. That is why we have written a separate line. So we will complete this statement. Tyrosine also contains hydroxyl group, but it is not water soluble. It is not water soluble. See, usually alcohol containing things, they are going to be water soluble, but tyrosine, despite it contains alcohol group, it is not water soluble. Also contain hydroxyl group, but it is not water soluble. That is why we have given a space of one line. Now you are clear with the concept that despite it contains alcohol group, it is not water soluble. It's not water soluble. So these four categories, we are going to remember the name of the category. By that, we can easily identify whether it is a water soluble or not. So acid, yes. Water soluble. Amide, yes. Basic, yes. And alcohol containing. Now, apart from these four categories, there are more two amino acids which are also water soluble. Their entire subgroup is not water soluble, but they individually they are water soluble. And the example is glycine and cysteine. Glycine and cysteine. They are also water soluble. Their entire group is not water soluble, but they are water soluble. So the water soluble amino acid, how we are going to remember? Four subcategories: acid, amide, base, alcohol, and glycine, cysteine. So these molecules are water soluble. Water soluble. The 10th subcategory, I can say, hydrophobic. Hydrophobic amino acid. Hydrophobic amino acid means water insoluble. Water insoluble. So I can say the easy way to remember is remaining all. Apart from these, remaining all will be water soluble, water insoluble. Remaining all. So you just remember one category, either water soluble, water insoluble. So it is easy to remember water soluble ones. So we'll remember this water soluble ones. Remaining all are water insoluble. Remaining all are water insoluble. So I'm asking a question. If you will be attentive, you will easily answer this question. But read the question carefully and then try to answer. I will give you the options as well. Give the options. Which of the following is a charged polar amino acid? Which of the following is a charged polar amino acid? The options are serine, glycine, cysteine, aspartate. Which of the following is a charged polar amino acid? Now, how to solve this MCQ? See here. Polar amino acid means what? Polar is the other name of water soluble. Polar means water soluble. So we need to find out water soluble amino acid. Which of the following is a water soluble amino acid? Serine, glycine, cysteine, aspartate. All the four are from water soluble. All the four are water soluble. Then what they're asking? Charged charged polar means the amino acid which is water soluble as well as contains a charge. So there are two amino acids, or I can say there are two groups which contains a charge. acid, it contains a negative charge, and base contains a positive charge. So you need to find out amino acid which is water soluble as well as charged. So among these, the aspartate is amino acid, aspartate which belongs to acidic amino acid, which is polar as well as having a charge, which is negative charge. Rest three, they are water soluble, but they are not charged. They are not charged. There is no charge on that. Yes. So this is how they are going to ask you this question, that which of the following is a charged amino acid, charged polar, and so on. We'll do some MCQ also at the end that is already been asked in the net board exams, so that you will get an idea how to solve the MCQ, how to approach the notes, how to read the notes. So this was the first classification. This was the first classification that we have discussed, that is based on R group. That is based on R group. This is the entire classification, 10 subcategories. Now the second classification that we are going to discuss is based on metabolism. Classification based on metabolism. Classification based on metabolism of amino acid. So I hope all the 10 categories based on R group is clear, and most of the categories you may have remembered already. Now, based on metabolism, the amino acid is divided into 3 categories. So when you do the metabolism of these 22 types of amino acid, what you are going to notice that some of the amino acid, they are going to form ketone body. After metabolism, they are going to synthesize ketone body. There are some amino acid which are going to synthesize glucose after their metabolism. The end product is going to be glucose. And there are some amino acid which can generate ketone body as well as can generate glucose. Depending on the demand of the body, they can generate any molecule. Based on metabolism, there are some amino acid after metabolism, they are going to generate ketone body. Some can generate glucose and some can generate both. So if the amino acid is able to generate ketone body after the metabolism, they are called as ketogenic amino acid. Ketogenic amino acid. If they are able to generate glucose, they are called as glucogenic amino acid. If they are able to generate both, they are called as keto plus glucogenic, because they are able to generate both the things. So there are 3 subcategories based on metabolism: ketogenic, glucogenic, and keto plus glucogenic. There are 3 subcategories: keto, gluco, keto plus gluco. Okay, we'll ask you a simple general knowledge question. No need to write that part. Just pay attention and try to answer this. If I ask you, which is the most common pet animal? Which is the most common pet animal worldwide and in India? Which is the most common pet animal in India? Which is the most common pet animal worldwide? Yes. Worldwide, cat, dog, cat. In India, most common cat, dog, or cow, or buffalo. Yes. Someone is answering cow, someone is answering buffalo. Maybe I am unable to see the answer, but that will be the common responses that I get. See, cow and buffalo does not live in your drawing room. Yes. So that is not a pet animal. If I change the question, let's say, if I ask you, which is the most common when you will sit in the emergency room, let's say you are sitting in ER, emergency room, most common bite that you are going to see in a clinical practice, most common bite that you will notice, that the patient will come to you with the bite of which animal? Which animal? Cat, dog, snake, or scorpion? Which is the most common bite that you are going to notice in emergency room worldwide and India? The most common bite that you are going to encounter in emergency room. Someone is answering is okay. Whatever you are going to be answered, that is not the correct response. Whether it is India or worldwide, the most common bite is not dog bite or a snake bite. The most common bite that you are going to notice is human bite. Human bite cases has increased tremendously. इंसान जानवर बन गया है. Yes. Human bite is the most common bite that you are going to notice. The agenda is not that. The point that I want to convey to you is the most common animal is cat. And if I ask you, what is the most common name of a pet cat? What is the most common name of a pet cat? Yes, this is not what you are thinking. It is Lucy. Lucy is the most common name of a pet cat. Lucy. Lucy. Pet cat. Cat. Lucy. Cat. Lucy. Cat. Lucy. Lucy. So, if they ask ketogenic amino acid, the answer will be Lucy. Cat. Lucy. Lucy, or I can say leucine, is most ketogenic. Most ketogenic amino acid is leucine. There is one more example of ketogenic amino acid, that is lysine. So leucine and lysine, they are ketogenic amino acid. Leucine and lysine, they are ketogenic amino acid. Leucine and lysine. The second subcategory, the most common cat, Lucy. This is how we are going to remember. The second subcategory is keto plus glucogenic, and the third subcategory is glucogenic. Now, before answering the question, which of the following is keto plus glucogenic, I just want to ask you a simple question, that the question that we have already discussed. Which of the can you give the name of the example of amino acid which belongs to aromatic amino acid? Aromatics means contains a smell. Can you name the aromatic amino acid? Aromatic. Yes. Tryptophan, phenylalanine. What was the smell? Yes. Tyrosine. And last we have added was histidine. Please do not write, just pay attention this part. Just see here. What we are discussing is keto plus glucogenic. Now everyone just pay attention. Just for the 10-15 seconds. See, keto plus glucogenic is exactly same as aromatic. It is exactly same as aromatic. There is only one difference. There is only one difference. Instead of histidine, there is isoleucine. So this is just a way to remember keto plus glucogenic. It is exactly same. Instead of histidine, there will be isoleucine. There will be isoleucine. So these are keto plus glucogenic. Glucogenic, remaining all amino acid, they are glucogenic. Remaining all. So this is the second classification, that is based on the metabolism: ketogenic, keto plus gluco, and glucogenic. Then the third subcategory, or the third classification that we are going to discuss is based on the nutritional requirement. Classification of amino acid based on nutritional requirement. Based on nutritional requirement. See, the amino acid based on nutritional requirement is divided into three categories. There are three subcategories. First is called as essential amino acid. Second is semi-essential. Third is non-essential. Essential, semi-essential, and non-essential. Essential, semi-essential, non-essential. What is the meaning of essential? Essential means cannot be synthesized in body. Means you need to take them in your diet. Cannot be synthesized in body. Means they cannot be synthesized endogenously. You have to take them from outside in your diet. Cannot be synthesized. Non-essential means can be synthesized. Can be synthesized in body. Means there is no absolute requirement that you need to take them in your diet. You can synthesize them in your body. Semi-essential means required to take required during growth. Means when you are in your growing phase, at that time, then these amino acids are required. At that time only, these amino acids are required. They comes under the category of semi-essential amino acid required during growth. Now, the example of essential amino acid. See, out of 22, there are total 9 essential amino acid we have. We have 9 essential amino acid. In many books, they say we have 8 essential. No, we have 9 essential amino acid. In many books, it is written 8, but you need to follow this. And this is what is there in the NET board question bank. They consider 9 essential amino acid. How we are going to remember these 9 essential amino acids is with the mnemonic TV till 9 p.m. H. TV till 9 p.m. H. TV till 9 p.m. H. 9 means there are 9 essential amino acid, and these are the initial of each of the amino acid. TV till 9 p.m. H. So, for example, if I say, let's say I ask a question that, no need to write this part. If I ask you, isoleucine, is it essential or not? Isoleucine is an essential amino acid or not? You will take the initial I. I is there in the mnemonic. Yes, I is there in the mnemonic. It is essential. So this is how we are going to identify whether the amino acid is essential or not. What we are going to do is we will take the initial and we'll look for the initial which is there in the mnemonic. TV till 9 p.m. H. Now do not write this part and just try to understand. If I ask you out of 22 amino acid, how many amino acid that starts with the letter T? You will notice that there are 3 amino acid that starts with the letter T. The first is tryptophan, threonine, and tyrosine. There are 3 amino acid that starts with the letter T. If you see the mnemonic, TV till 9 p.m. H, in this, how many T's are there? The first T, the second T. So there are only two T's. The first T stands for tryptophan and second T stands for threonine. This tyrosine, it starts from the letter T, but it is a non-essential amino acid. It is non-essential. So usually, see what the examiner will do is the examiner knows that you are going to use this mnemonic TV till 9 p.m. H. So they will try to confuse you between the third T. Tyrosine, despite it start from the letter T, it is not an essential amino acid. The essential amino acid which starts with on the letter T is tryptophan and threonine. Tryptophan and threonine. So we'll write this statement here. Tyrosine is a non-essential amino acid. In the category of essential, we are writing a non-essential, and the reason I have explained you, they will ask you all except question, and they will always try to confuse you between these T's. Tyrosine is non-essential. If you remember these 3 facts, your all the question from this particular classification will be correct. The 3 facts are total 9 essentials we are having. The initials are TV till 9 p.m. H, and tyrosine is non-essential. If you remember these 3 facts, your question from this particular slide will be correct. Still, if you want the name of all the 9 essential amino acid, the example of essential amino acid, TV till 9 p.m. H. So the examples are tryptophan. This is just for the sake of completion of your notes. Tryptophan, valine, threonine, isoleucine, leucine, lysine, phenylalanine, methionine, and H stand for histidine. I am highlighting the histidine. The reason I am highlighting the histidine is in many books, histidine is written as semi-essential. Histidine is not semi-essential. Histidine is not semi-essential. I am again saying in the NET board answer bank, in the NET board, in the question bank of the NET board, histidine is regarded as essential amino acid. In many books, it is written as semi-essential. It is not semi-essential. It is essential amino acid. And this has already been asked. So these are the essential amino acid we are having. When it comes to semi-essential, The example is arginine. There is only one example, arginine, which is semi-essential. And when it comes to non-essential, the example is remaining all. Apart from these 10 amino acids, remaining all the 12 are non-essential, remaining all. So we are having only one semi-essential, that is arginine, and remaining all are non-essential. Remaining all are non-essential. Now, once we are clear with the fact of this classification part, based on nutritional requirement, essential, semi-essential, and non-essential. So these three classifications are important that we need to understand and remember. See, despite of so vigorous classification, there are some amino acid which does not belong to any class. There are some amino acid which does not belong to any class. We have divided the amino acid in so many categories, but there are some amino acid which does not belong to any class. So there is a ectopic variety amino acid that is called as derived amino acid. So you will write a separate category, derived amino acid. Derived amino acid. See, what is the meaning of derived amino acid? See, usually what happens is, you take, you can name any amino acid. Let's say, for example, methionine. Methionine is an amino acid, and it can be represented by a codon. Every amino acid will have at least one codon. Can have more than one also, but at least one will be there. Say, for example, methionine, the codon is AUG. Methionine, the codon is AUG. Every amino acid will have at least one codon, can be more than one also. Methionine, the codon is AUG. But if you take amino acid, that cannot be represented by codon, amino acid that cannot be represented by codon. If amino acid cannot be represented by codon, such amino acid are called as derived amino acid. Such amino acid are called as derived amino acid. If amino acid cannot be represented by a codon, such amino acid are called as derived amino acid. Let's see the examples of derived amino acid. Example of derived amino acid. Amino acid which cannot be represented by a codon. Usually every amino acid we have a codon. I have just given you example. The example of methionine, the codon is AUG. We will discuss these codon in detail in the chapter of DNA and RNA. So the example of derived amino acid are hydroxyproline, hydroxylysine. These are derived amino acid, hydroxyproline, hydroxylysine. They are found in collagen. Collagen is a protein. So they can ask that these amino acid are found in, these derived amino acid is found in which amino acid, which protein? Hydroxyproline and hydroxylysine is found in collagen. One more example we can add, desmosine. Desmosine is found in elastin. And lastly, cysteine. Cysteine. Cysteine is amino acid. Cysteine is amino acid. See, we have discussed the similar molecule when we have discussed sulfur containing amino acid. That was cysteine. I hope you remember. Cysteine. The spelling of cysteine that we have written was this one. That was sulfur containing amino acid. So cysteine is amino acid that contains sulfur. This is what we have written. If I take two molecules of cysteine, and I join them, so you can see that the sulfur molecules are joining with each other. And this entire unit where two molecules of cysteine are united, this is called as cysteine. If they ask that which bond is there in cysteine, the name of the bond will be disulfide bond. You can notice that there is disulfide bond. The bond between the cysteine, the bond which is there in the cysteine molecule is disulfide bond. Disulfide bond. Two molecules of cysteine will unite and will make cysteine. So whenever we require disulfide bond, we are going to use cysteine molecule. See, for example, you may have seen a structure of immunoglobulin, that is antibody. If you see the structure of antibody, somewhat it will look like this. And these heavy chains are united with the help of disulfide bond. These heavy chains are united with disulfide bond. So from where this disulfide bond is coming, this disulfide bond is by cysteine molecule. By the presence of cysteine, you will get disulfide bond. Wherever you require disulfide bond, you will put a molecule cysteine there. So I can say, if they ask cysteine is found where, cysteine is found in immunoglobulin. Immunoglobulin means antibody. It is also found in insulin. It is found in immunoglobulin and insulin. Cysteine. Cysteine is found in immunoglobulin and insulin. So these are the derived amino acid. Derived amino acid, the details is the amino acid which cannot be represented by codon, and we have discussed 4 examples: hydroxyproline, hydroxylysine, desmosine, and cysteine. So with this subcategory, or I can say ectopic variety, the complete classification of amino acid. This is the complete classification of amino acid. Now in the beginning, I told you that earlier we were having only 20 amino acid. Now we are having 22 amino acid. So we should know what is the name of 21st amino acid. What is the name of 21st? What is the name of 22nd? Because they are recently added. Previously we were having only 20 amino acid. Now we have 21st and 22nd also. The name of 21st amino acid is selenocysteine. Selenocysteine. If they ask what is the precursor, what is the precursor of selenocysteine? Is it selenium or cysteine? What is the precursor of selenocysteine? Is it selenium or cysteine? Answer is none of them. The precursor amino acid, it is serine. So serine will convert into selenocysteine. Serine is the precursor for selenocysteine. And codon for selenocysteine is UGA. There is no need to remember all the codons. We just need to remember 3 codons. I will highlight them. So the codon for selenocysteine is UGA. The same details we should remember for the 22nd amino acid, as it is recently added. The 22nd amino acid is pyrrolysine. Pyrrolysine. There is no as such precursor molecule. There is no as such precursor amino acid for pyrrolysine. It is made up of multiple different molecules. And the codon for pyrrolysine is, see, to remember the codon, just take an example so that you will remember it easily. Say for example, let's say in rural Rajasthan, no need to write this part, or I can say North India, any rural part of North India, a recently married couple, wife wants to call her husband, but the husband is sitting with some elderly people. How wife will call her husband? In North rural India, particularly in Rajasthan, there is a tradition that wife does not call her husband by his name, because they are recently married. So there is no child yet, so they're not called by the name of child. That option is also not there. So how they will call? They will use the term AG, OG, right? So I can say because they are recently married, so there is pyar. Because they are recently married, there is pyar. And wherever there is pyar, there is AGOG. Wherever there is pyar, there will be AGOG. After some time, the pyar will wash out because they are recently married, so there is pyar. And after some time, the pyar will wash out. So the point is, wherever there is pyar, there is AGOG. Wherever there is pyar, there is AGOG. Wherever there is pyar, there will be AGOG, UAG. So the codon for pyrrolysine is UAG. Wherever there is PR, there is AGOG. So these are the 21st and the 22nd amino acid. These are the details of 21st and 22nd. We will do some MCQs. And in the next class, we'll start the metabolism part. So try to answer the question. Which of the all of the following are essential amino acid? All of the following are essential amino acid except. So how to find out a non-essential or semi-essential is we are going to use the mnemonic TV till 9 p.m. H, that is for essential. TV till 9 p.m. H essential, L essential, lysine, L again, L is there, leucine. A is not there in the mnemonic. A is not there. So A is non-essential. A is semi-essential. A is semi-essential. It does not belong to essential category. Sulfur containing amino acid. Which amino acid contains sulfur? Yes. What is there inside the meaty cyst? Cysteine. Cysteine contains sulfur. With the same option, if I ask you a question, which of the following is a alcohol containing amino acid? Alcohol containing amino acid. Which of the following is alcohol containing amino acid? The answer will be threonine, sir-thero. It's alcohol. Which of the following is most ketogenic amino acid? Most ketogenic amino acid. Most ketogenic. The answer is leucine. And arginine is most basic. Arginine is most basic. All are polar amino acid except. All are polar except. Polar means water soluble. So all are water soluble except. All are water soluble except. Serine belongs to which category? Sir belongs to alcohol. And alcohol is water soluble. Threonine, sir, thero. It is also alcohol. Water soluble. Aspartate. Aspartate is an acid. And acid is water soluble. Tryptophan is the last option. That is water insoluble. So all are water soluble except tryptophan. Tryptophan is not water soluble among these given options. These were alcohol containing amino acids, acid. So by categories, we can easily identify whether it is a water soluble or water insoluble amino acid. Which amino acid have maximum UV absorption? Which amino acid have maximum UV absorption? I told you that all aromatic have a tendency to absorb the UV rays. All aromatic have a tendency to absorb UV rays, but the maximum UV absorption is seen with tryptophan. Tryptophan have the maximum UV absorption. Tryptophan. Which amino acid is optically inactive? Optically inactive means does not contain a chiral carbon. That was the second definition. Yes, I have made this structure. That which amino acid is optically inactive. This was the structure of glycine. Glycine does not have a chiral carbon. No chiral carbon. No chiral carbon means so optically inactive. Glycine is optically inactive. What is the code for pyrrolysine? What is the code for pyrrolysine? Wherever there is PR, there is AGOG, UAG, UAG. So with this, we'll conclude the session for today. In the next class, we'll start with the reaction part. We'll do the metabolism of amino acid. I will take up your doubts now. If you have any doubt, you can write in chat box. If you have any doubt, you can write in chat box. I will try to solve your queries. No, there is no need to remember the structural formula for each amino acid. Derived amino acid is not a part of 22nd amino acid. They are separate amino acid. What is the meaning of codon? See, these general question, whenever the next class, what will be the things, these general question you can ask separately from the coordinator. Here in the end, we are going to discuss your doubts. See, someone has asked that what is the meaning of codon? See, the meaning of codon is, we will discuss this codon thing in detail when we are going to discuss the DNA and RNA. The point that you need to remember is, see, where every car has its own number. Yes, so that you can easily identify your own car. In the same way, every amino acid have their own codon. And codon means that is we can say a identification number. That is identification number that every amino acid will have, and it is very particular. AUG is always and always going to represent methionine. Wherever is AUG, you will automatically understand that the methionine is going to be there. So this is the meaning of that codon. The codon is basically an identification number for each amino acid that will be very peculiar. See, 21st and 22nd amino acid, they are recently classified. So depending on which subcategory you are talking about, they will belong to that category. Say, for example, let's say if you ask that whether they are ketogenic, glucogenic, or keto plus glucogenic, they will be glucogenic. The reason we have not written the name, because we have written remaining all. So wherever we have written remaining all, these 21st and 22nd are going to be going there. So 21st, 22nd, they are non-essential, they are water insoluble, they are glucogenic amino acids. We will discuss the codon in detail in the chapter of DNA and RNA. No need to worry about that. We will discuss that. Okay, so from my side is over. What you need to do is the task is probably we are going to have a class tomorrow, and at the same time. And what I want from you to do is whenever you come to the next class, revise your notes. Revise your notes of the previous class, and if possible, all the classes whenever we come. Let's say in the third class, fourth class, try to revise the first, second, and then come the third one, and so on. If you do like that, whether it's FMG exam, NEET, PG, or USMLE, you are not going to, the biochemistry is not going to bother you anywhere. Okay, thank you. So from my side is over.